What's up everybody, D-Man back to a brand new video, and today we're doing another Ultraman news and updates for a few reasons. Number one, I am falling behind and I don't want to fall behind on news. Number two, because it's Ultraman Day is when I'm recording this, so there you go. Happy late Ultraman Day. I have no idea when this video is coming out. As with the previous news and updates, I want to give the disclaimer here at the start. Ultraman's not really my thing. I'm not huge on it. I'm covering the news that interests me, not all of the news. If you want news on the TV shows and whatnot, go check out the official Twitters. I have no interest in that stuff. I'm just talking about the stuff that interests me. So that's what we're doing today. Again, I'm not an expert on Ultraman. Don't pretend to be an expert on Ultraman. It's not my big thing. You know, Ultraman's like a side hobby that I'm just now getting into.
Ultraman, Ultraman, here he comes from the sky. Ultraman, Ultraman, watch our hero fly.
Alright, let's start out by mentioning that Subaraya, who's the company that owns Ultraman, or they created Ultraman, they launched their new Ultra Galaxy website. This is an American-run website, and it is the official American branch of Ultraman. You can check out Ultra Galaxy, linked down below. Next up, we have The Birth of Ultraman, which is slated to release today on July 10th, 2020. It's a new Blu-ray set being put out by Mill Creek, who released all the other Ultraman Blu-ray sets recently. The Birth of Ultraman is a highlight reel for Ultraman 1966, featuring episodes 1, 2, 19, 26, 27, 33, and 37 in both English and Japanese. Why the original release didn't have English and Japanese, I don't know. Whatever, but they're doing it now, so I bought this set just so that I could have those for some reason, despite already owning the Blu-ray set. This also features the Birth of Ultraman stage show. That's actually the reason I bought this, is because I wanted to own that stage show. I just watched it today during Ultraman Day. It was awesome. It was awesome watching that during the live stream on Twitch. That was a fun chat. The set will be anywhere from $19 to $25 depending on when you order it, and as I said, it is supposed to release on July 10th, which is the day I'm recording this. Mill Creek and Shout Factory have teamed up. They have collaborated to release, oh man, it's absurd. They're potentially going to release 1,100 episodes and 20 movies worth of Ultraman on their Tokushoutsu streaming channel. Oh my god, that is so much Ultraman content. You have people like, D-Man, why don't you get more into Ultraman? That number right there is the reason. That is way too much content to consume. It's such an intimidating number. It's like, where do I even start? I guess I started at the beginning. We're close to it anyways. This comic book is the reason I am making this video. I really wanted to talk about the upcoming Marvel comic because I'm so excited for it. I think I mentioned it in the last news and updates that it existed, that it was going to exist, but we have a lot more information on it now. Most of this information comes from Ultraman Day, so yay, hooray. The Rise of Ultraman is a new Ultraman comic being released by Marvel Comics, set to release in September 2020. There's a lot of details to run through here, so we will run through them all. Like I said, it should release in 2020. It is a 5-issue run, so it's a mini-series that will release every month starting in September. And then once this mini-series is over, a new mini-series will launch, and they're going to continue to tell Ultraman stories for an unknown period of time. Issue 1 is a 40-page story. That is awesome. The comic jumps between 1954, 1966, and 2020. I have no idea what they're doing back in 54. 66, I imagine, will have something to do with the original Ultraman story, but I don't know. And then 2020. It's going to be a modern remake slash reimagining of the original 1966 show, except this time it's going to be fairly gritty. It didn't sound like they were going to go too far in terms of grit, but it's going to be grittier than before, featuring Hayata and Fuji, two characters from the original series reimagined for this one. The series will take place in a world where events may be similar to the 66 series happened. They released a few pages of it, and the first few pages are very 66 reminiscent. However, they also might be reminiscent of something else that we'll talk about in just a second, but at least from what I'm familiar with in Ultraman, which isn't a lot, it seems very 66 inspired. This show will have reminiscent characters, plots, and events similar to the original show, but they're going to be different enough to stand on their own. It will be bigger and bolder, or broader, I should say. I don't know what the terminology they used during the live stream was, but it'll be bigger and broader than the live action Ultraman shows due to the unlimited potential they have. They have no budget here, so they can do all the special effects stuff they want. Marvel wants to move beyond the original story at a certain point, but this initial 5-issue run will be mostly tethered to the original show. During the live stream, they talked about how they think it'll be interesting to have Ultraman fail to solve a threat and then not be ready to manifest again. They talked about how in the show, Ultraman usually is manifested, saves the day, and then you wait till the next episode for him to show up again. But what if he didn't solve the threat? What if the timer timed out and he turned back to human, and then what? What does Hayata do? I'm assuming they're still referring to Hayata as Ultraman, I don't know. But what is whoever is Ultraman, what do they do then? I think of it a lot like Ben 10 because Ultraman was a direct inspiration for Ben 10. When he timed out, he just had to wait for the Omnitrix to charge back up before he'd go hero again. So maybe they'll do something similar with that, but they didn't seem like they did anything like that in the current run. That sounded like something they wanted to explore in a future run of Ultraman comics. They said this comic story arc will have a larger story about the SSSP relating to their origins and their maybe shady motivations. Interesting. They said that the kaiju have strange reality warping abilities where when the kaiju show up, they're going to cause problems. It's going to be like a living nightmare, and people who interact with them will be so traumatized that they will be forced to forget what happened. Hayata will be a newcomer to the SSSP. It sounded like Hayata is going to be on the outside. Going in, he knows about the kaiju. He's one of the few people who can remember a kaiju attack, and he really wants to become part of the SSSP as a result. The kaiju all have their own individual motivations in this story and their own individual characters, so that's cool. There will also be an Ultra Q story in near black and white. It's a muted color tone, and that will tie into the original Ultraman story here. So I think they're going to be included in the same issues. I think you're going to get Ultraman and then Ultra Q will be in the back, but there will be both an Ultra Q storyline and an Ultraman storyline. Following the Rise of Ultraman will be a sequel comic that does not have a name or release date at the moment. An Ultraman Marvel crossover is in the realm of possibilities, but isn't going to happen anytime soon. That means don't expect to see Ultraman interacting with Spider-Man like he does on the cover. In the books, you're going to have to wait a long time for something like that to potentially happen. Ultraman will try to learn about and potentially appease his new kaiju foes. That's something that really interested me, was that maybe some of them have motivations that he can agree with, and so he'll try to give them what they want. That's very, very interesting. The comic creators, specifically the writers, teased that there was going to be this massive shift that has narrative-shattering ramifications that happens during the Rise of Ultraman that will change the course of the series going forward. A lot of people during the Ultraman Day live stream chat were speculating that maybe Fuji is going to be the one to wind up with the beta capsule rather than Hayata. Maybe towards the end of the comic she will get it. Maybe she will become Ultraman. Would she become Ultraman, or is there like a female version? I don't know. You guys might know that. I don't. I'm not that informed. I know for a fact there are female Ultras, but I don't know what would happen if a female got a beta capsule connected to a male Ultra. Can anyone but Hayata even use the beta capsule? Question mark? I don't know. These are all questions that I have not learned. Maybe I'll learn as I continue exploring these series, or maybe you can help inform me in the comments. There are so many beautiful covers for these comics. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out right now for these comics. You've seen all the art on screen as I've talked. I will quickly tell you what those all are. So we had the initial covers. We had the Alex Ross Rise of Ultraman variant covers. Alex Ross did a few of those. Oliver Copiel did a Spider-Man meets Ultraman cover. That one's awesome. And then there's a bunch of additional Rise of Ultraman covers. In total, there's supposed to be 9. I count that we have potentially 7 of those scenes so far. I don't entirely know if there's going to be more, but I see 7 so far, but I can't tell if some of these other comic covers are actually issue 1 or if they're later issues. I can't entirely tell. They didn't do a great job organizing them. So as I said, the first couple pages, the first 5 pages of the comic have been released online. They're really cool. Like I said, you start out with what in the, I didn't know, but in the live stream they have identified as Ultra 7's origins. So the character introduced in this beginning scene is Dan Moroboshi, who becomes Ultra 7. And so apparently he's going to be Ultra 7 in the past, and then Hayata will be the Ultraman in the present. I don't entirely know how this is all going to work, but it's going to be cool to explore nonetheless. Then there's a whole bunch of random art featuring the giant red orb, which we do see. That's what turns Hayata into Ultraman in the first episode of the show. There's a big kaiju coming out of something here that some girl's freaking out over, maybe Fuji, I can't tell. And then Ultraman shows up, and there is a little teaser for Ultra Q. There's also a teaser for issue 2 along with with potentially 3 variant covers for it. The first one, oh my god, look how beautiful that is. The color palette looks great. The art style is amazing. That is a beautiful cover right there. The second one's also pretty cool. This one's like an action movie poster with the giant kaiju. I'm sure you guys know the name of, I don't, in the background. Ultraman, and then you got your other characters around him. And then there's one where you have Ultraman surrounded by all of his rogues galleries, all of his most famous kaiju surrounding him. And that appears to be another issue 2 variant cover. Finally, we have a teaser for issue 3, and that is a single still image. It is the comic cover for the issue. It is actually where I learned that Ultraman can take human shape. Obviously, he's a humanoid creature, but I didn't realize that he could be human size. This is where I learned that he could be not only kaiju sized, but human sized. So there you go. I'm really looking forward to the Rise of Ultraman Marvel comic. It'll be the first Marvel comic I read in many, many years. I can't wait to pick it up. I'm gonna blast through this because I don't have anything to say about it. I don't watch the show. I'm not there yet, but I'm trying to get there. For those of you who don't know, the reason I'm trying to watch Ultraman is so that I can watch the Ultraman anime. Ultraman anime season 2 has an animated poster along with a normal poster. It should be releasing sometime coming up soon, so you can look forward to that. Ultraman anime season 2 also has a trailer that I have linked down below featuring Ultraman, 7, Ace, and now featuring Taro. I guess Taro is the new Ultraman who's been revealed for this season, or new Ultra, I should say. He's the new Ultra who has been revealed for this season. I don't know if people are excited about that. I thought people liked that anime, but based on the reception to the intro I made for my Ultraman videos, apparently people do not like the anime, so that's interesting. I guess I'll have to wait and find out why. As for Shin Ultraman, there's not a lot to talk about here. There's a little bit of stuff, but there's not a lot. There's some Shin Ultraman models. First of all, they took some scans of the original Ultraman from 1966, built up a model for him, and then of course they had the actual in-person models that we covered in the last videos. We have 2 new images of those. Originally, I didn't have an issue with the color timer not being on the chest, but as I've watched Ultraman, I kind of realized the significance of the color timer, and now I do admit it is kind of strange he doesn't have it on his chest. It's the same principle of if Ben 10 turned into way big and the Omnitrix just disappeared when he turned into way big, it's strange that the Omnitrix wouldn't be there. It should be on his chest, so I get it. I'd take it back if I don't remember what I had to say about it in the last video, but I don't think I had any issue with it, and I apologize for being insensitive to you Ultraman fans. I understand why it would upset some of you. That being said, it's still kind of like a whatever thing for me. I don't know what they're gonna do in this new movie, so maybe there's a reason why it's not there. There was one interview for Shin Ultraman that I've seen pick up some traction that people were like, oh, maybe it's discussing a sequel for Shin Godzilla. I don't know about that. Shinji Higuchi stated that a Shin Godzilla sequel isn't the focus at the moment. Shin Ultraman is the focus. There were multiple different translations of this Japanese interview. One of the translations stated that Shin Ultraman should be enjoyed first before discussions shift back to Shin Godzilla. Another translation stated that Shin Ultraman is the next chapter. I think either translation is correct, and I think they both mean the same thing. By next chapter, I think he means next chapter in our lives. Like, that's the next thing we should move on to, and if that isn't the proper translation, then I think he truly does mean, hey guys, let's just focus on Shin Ultraman because that's the thing coming out next. I don't think it has anything to do with Shin Godzilla. I don't think the movie is going to be a sequel. I would highly doubt there will be any sort of carryover or crossover between the 2 films. So there you go. Finally, we have Ultraman Day, which is again the 10th. It's the day I'm recording this video. I don't know when this video is going out, but Ultraman Day was a big celebration. I've got all the links down below so you can check out everything you want post-fact now that it's done and over with. During Ultraman Day, there were interviews with Bin Furuya. I don't know how to say his name properly, but Ultraman, Susumu Korobi, I don't know if I'm saying his name right either, who played Shin Hayata, and Hiroku Sakurai, who played Fuji in the original show. They all had interviews that played sporadically throughout. I sat through that whole thing. It started late, and then I sat and watched the entire thing. It was a long live stream. Oh my lord. The Marvel editors were featured, and the Marvel writers were featured. They had their own little interviews. The original lineup featured Jason Hines, CEO of Evaluate Games, talking about producing Ultraman Kaiju Combat, as well as featured artists, contest collectors, people such as Matt Frank, August Ragone, and many more were supposed to show up. There was going to be panels on subbing and dubbing of Ultraman. Mill Creek was supposed to appear and do some stuff, and then this was supposed to help launch the Ultra Galaxy store. Not all of these things happened. Some of them did. There was still a panel on subbing and dubbing and that stuff, and Mill Creek did have some presentations throughout, so there was some of this stuff, but not all of it. Like Matt Frank didn't ever get to go on. Not everything got to happen because of some technical difficulties. One big thing that was revealed during this that seemed like a big deal to the chat, I don't have any idea what the relevance of it is because I didn't watch the first thing, so this means nothing to me. It carries no weight, but maybe it'll carry weight when I tell you that Ultra Galaxy Fight 2 is now confirmed. I think you're going to be able to catch that one on YouTube. So there you go, friends. If you guys really like Ultra Galaxy Fight, the second one is coming. It's supposed to be the most ambitious Ultra project ever, based on the way they talked about it. So maybe be hyped for it if you're a big Ultraman guy. Either way, I do have all the links to all the Ultraman Day stuff down below, so you can go check it out for yourself. You can check out all the things that you missed, or you can look at the things that they missed that they didn't get to do. And you can look at the things that they did do. So there you go, guys. There's another Ultraman news and updates. The Ultraman fandom can continue to reject me all they want. They can continue to spam my Ultraman videos with dislikes and hit me up on Twitter telling me how much of a terrible person I am for covering Ultraman. They can keep doing whatever they want. I don't care. I'm gonna keep trucking forward. The more you tell me not to do it, the more I'm gonna do it. So there you go. Now you know what kind of person you're dealing with. Hope you guys all have a good day. See you guys next time for the next one. D-Man out.